Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
You
I
can
thought it's
you can't hear me. Sorry.
now it's fine.
Now you can
Yeah,
hear
I
me.
was I
All
was
right.
wondering maybe today we have a meeting in sign language or something.
All right. So let's get started. Welcome everyone on bi-weekly community meeting of Cozystack. I'll repeat that we have Telegram group and Slack channel, official Kubernetes Slack, where you can join and ask your questions. Do we have anyone new on this call who didn't introduce yourself previously, who would like to put your few words about themselves? Right, then let's switch to agenda. Today, I'd like to introduce a new release candidate of version 1.4. This version introduces a lot of new things. First, we have redesigned Cozystack dashboard to more cloud native design. This design would allow us to implement the front-end features way more faster. And we already have another killer features implemented in comparison to previous one. So every resource now have the events. It shows what is happening with all the resources regarding to this specific object. We have implemented VNC, and we have dashboard which shows the state of all the deployed applications. Also, you can see that now it way more faster, and the option for the page for deploying the applications get also improved. It's still slightly complex because it just translates the existing OpenAPI schema into UI with small tweaks, and we are going to also introduce the new format for describing those forms when to allowing users to ordering new services. Also, the new release will include some changes, including the breaking ones. The breaking change is upgrading to KubeVirt 1.8. Unfortunately, this update will require you to restart your virtual machines because the kubevirt itself does not provide you a way for not doing that. So we decided to go ahead and just merge it. Unfortunately, the virtual machines should be restarted. The happy news that they can be restarted afterwards, so after upgrade. Also, we have finally finished working on Hami project. This project actually allows you to split the GPUs using LD preload. Actually, it allows you to do that quite dynamic way. Tenant Kubernetes clusters get persistent disks. We lightly tired that sometimes the virtual machines get rebooted and kubelet just loses their state. So we decided to, for every virtual machine, actually create persistent volume and store the state there. That should also improve the thing that virtual machines can be now live migrated, and after the reboot, they will not lose the state and will not lose and read and load the Docker images. There were also updates for Cozy proxy. That's a microservice needed to pass through IP addresses with whole IP annotation. We use it for virtual machine to simply perform one-to-one NAT and actually enable ICMP and wider port ranges. So this service get updated. Now it use specific annotation, which enables this service be excluded from Cilium. And it also now supports specifying the port ranges. So now it works in more Kubernetes native way. We have introduced GPU dashboards. Unfortunately, right now I have no GPU cluster, so I can't show you, but you'll find them in existing Grafana interface. And that's probably it.
No, I think we should announce we updated our presets table with new presets. We already have this new instance types right under your cursor.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not breaking, but it's changing now, and you can find logs in your Cozy operator if you need to migrate something. It's more flexible now. I'm not sure where is it in our documentation, but here is the link where you can preview your sizes.
Thank you. So yeah, there were some few changes regarding to presets for the managed services. They get series and also size for every particular series. Now it looks like quite similar to what we have in kubevirt virtual machines. During the update, they don't match exactly one-to-one, the old ones to new ones. But during the update, we have a migration which will automatically specify the newer instance type according to the previous one. Thank you for noting this. And also, this release will include new backup API support for the PaaS applications. Previously, we had every application, it actually get, just show you. So every application actually included this backup section. And for now, we are working on we almost finished on moving them to new backup APIs. And do we have any demo today for this?
Yes, I can show you.
Yeah,
me
could
show
you please?
Second, please. Oh, sorry, I have trouble with OS permissions. I reconnect and show.
All right, sure, no problem. We also have a few changes to site tools like Talm. Thanks, Alexei. He actually fixed it about 30 various bugs and added talos 1.12 and I think 1.13 support.
Yeah, 13 works too.
Could you please put few words regarding this?
It started casually. We just found one little bug, and now it's 2 weeks. I'm fixing it one by one. It's almost 80 PRs and issues closed in 2 weeks. And most of them is umbrella. We have some behavior changes. I can't remember them all, but all of them are covered in the code. So the app will highlight to you if you're trying to use something deprecated. At least we changed it -n in 21.1. And we deprecated the mask key. It's replaced with kernel logs or logs kernel. I can't remember exactly. But it's mostly work, I think. It's more friendly now.
Awesome, thank you.
And also we are working to add some TUI to make it more friendly.
Was it merged already?
No, it was just TUI like the Cobra one, but we're trying to add interactive console UI.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Okay, Andre is ready to demo. You can share your screen. Actually, I'm not sharing anymore. I was thinking to.
You're still shaking.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
I better explain that. Okay, I just want to say a few words about new release regarding backups features and the extent our functionality with supporting external and we extend backup functionality with supporting applications on Cozystack. And first step of this, we implement backupping data from managed database like Postgres, Foundation DB, Maria, ClickHouse, and previous user experience will be enhanced with more robust and mature approach based on controllers of the platform, and we can backupping these applications like other applications previously implemented, like virtual machines, VM disks. We just can create our custom resource for backupping these applications and manage some plans and restoring of this data. No, my dashboard still broken. Maybe I can
I can
show
share
that,
my one if you want to,
okay.
or you can show it as you wish. So should I?
Yes, так, wait. I just,
Yeah.
Right. This is my dashboard. I think right now it is not in latest version, or it is already. Awesome. So we have this 4 tabs. Could you explain why they are needed for? I guess plans are needed to configure specific application. Like I want to backup my Postgres. Oh, it seems found a bug. Because I can't select anything here.
Try changing the backup class.
Backup class. All right, there is just Valero.
Okay, yeah, I guess in your dashboard you can only backup virtual machines.
Got it. But still doesn't work. All right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it before the final release, I think. So plans define what? How often I want to capture backups.
Yeah, plans are basically just a cron job for backup jobs.
Okay, backup jobs actually, like I guess Kubernetes jobs when they're running when backups is created. And backups tab, it will show the created backups with the opportunity to restore it. Isn't that?
Yeah, that's correct. This is what we already had in the API. The work that Andrei did was implementing all the controllers for backing up ClickHouse, backing up Postgres, and everything else. Because up until now, we only had backup capability for virtual machines, which was done by Valero. The managed databases, they all mostly have some sort of native capability for being backed up. It's usually part of their operator. And what we wanted to do is instead of making the users know the context of every operator and having the user configure every dial and knob on the operator's custom resources, we have this extra level of abstraction above that, which is just the Cozystack's backup API. So the main new addition is in the. I don't think the documentation is merged yet, but the main new thing is that you can now back up a much larger spectrum of applications, and this should be the documentation should be released very soon, like tomorrow, and it has guides how you can configure backups for the managed databases.
Thank you. And there is also a good discussion. Should we backup Kubernetes? And we have different opinions regarding this. The thing is, you can't simply backup the whole Kubernetes cluster without stopping it, without suspending all the VMs. Otherwise, the backup will not be consistent. Can't just in one time backup the all PVCs and all the data from Kubernetes cluster. Think that many users use infrastructure as a code approach. They have created. They usually deploy Helm charts from Git repository. And there is also a question, should we backup the manifests created in Kubernetes clusters? Last time when we spoke about that internally, we got one user story, like found that many users use Kubernetes to run just stateless workloads. And the idea is to just backup the whole manifests inside of the Kubernetes cluster and optionally offer PVCs backup using Velera. But with big warning that the backup will not be consistent. If you're backing up some clustered database you deploy it inside of your tenant cluster, it will not be recovered properly. Yeah, Kingdom, please go ahead.
I have another use case. To riff on, the question is, should you back up Kubernetes itself, the etcd contents, the manifests? I would like to be able to do that for cross-plane migration purposes. If you need to shut down cross-plane on one cluster and bring up all the resources on another. But I would like to be able to do it with a bit of selective restore rather than restore, like, so you could back up cross-plane and its contents, but restore into an existing cross-plane cluster and then let the API server do any necessary upgrades. That seemed to be something that wasn't already covered by Velero when I tested it.
Yeah, for now we provide this Velero plugin for tenant Kubernetes clusters. But actually, Velero works fine. The only issue that it is not like very simple way of backing up Kubernetes.
If I may add,
Like, yeah, sure.
So backing up etcd entirely is more or less backing up every single manifest in the cluster. Tell me, do you really want not only to back up a deployment, but also its replica set and its individual pods, which have been nominated to run on a specific node? And then when you try to recreate your Kubernetes cluster, your node group creates new nodes with different names, different IDs. And okay, so the pods will not run on that node because the node doesn't exist. You don't know in what kind of state the deployment will be stuck. Well, I mean, these are all obvious questions. I'm sure the developers of Velero considered it already. Kingdom mentions crossplane. I haven't worked with it myself, but I'd assume it's yet another infrastructure as code tool. It's the same
Really
story
the
that you
same
have.
concern as what you're describing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, having your Git repository with lots of Terraform modules that describe your entire cloud infrastructure. And even with all of that, normally sane people, they split their Terraform repositories into individual smaller modules. They don't bring up their entire 50 virtual machine, 10 Kubernetes cluster, AWS client VPN, and so on and so forth in a huge single Terraform apply. I'm not sure if trying to back up an entire Kubernetes cluster in any sane manner is any different from trying to describe the universe in one huge YAML file.
So maybe it would be better.
My take on this is that Kubernetes backups, they do not exist. No one has implemented them cleanly, and I'm not sure that they're needed for any mature infrastructure.
I think maybe it would be better to approach, because it's a little, the way you described it is a great filter for how to understand the problem of Kubernetes backups. If you restore the effects rather than the intents, then you might be making a mistake. But Crossplane is one of those applications that really blurs the line, where it might make more sense to you to restore the claims because they represent the intents and not all the managed resources. But if you do that, you've abandoned all of your analog to Terraform state, which is stored in the cluster. So you really want to keep those managed resources that are behind the composition, because they have a representation of the external resource, an external name or an external ID. And without that, they won't be tied back to the public cloud resource. If you have to restore a Crossplane cluster from backups, depending on your RPO, you might have some new resources that were created since the last backup was taken that wouldn't be included, but they won't be wiped out by restoring the backup if in any case, even if you haven't taken a great amount of care. But I think maybe the right place to do the filter is at save time, capture time, rather than restore time. Because you can definitely say what resources like pods and replica sets don't need to be restored and shouldn't even be captured. But it's not always as straightforward as intent versus effect.
Yeah, sometimes also webhooks can block the restoring the resources from the Velero. Also, I have really interesting case when a customer was backupping the cluster by simply creating snapshots, and then they tried to recover it. And once snapshots were created in different times, they get a different state on recovered etcd replicas. And etcd actually didn't do anything about that. That was looking like you're just sending requests to Kubernetes API. It goes through the specific etcd replica, and every time it provides you different response. So I'm just thinking, if user has some applications like that, they should be aware of how it will behave after the backup restored. And in this case, might be worth just to keeping Velero plugin as it is and provide the users instructions. How can they use it instead of implementing the unified API for Kubernetes? From the other perspective, I see another thing, that sometimes it's better to have some backup instead of having no backup at all. Because usually you can find that it might be useful only after the disaster happens. And it might be better to keep some state, even in wrong condition, which you can manually recover later, but still you already have some backup.
That goes along with the principle that if you have two backups, then you have one, and if you have one, then you really have none.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. And is there any unified way for recovering at least Kubernetes resources? Because I mentioned that webhooks can actually block it.
I like the idea of having etcd snapshots and I suppose backups of persistent volumes for sure. It's it's certainly not a way to, mirror a cluster, mirror an environment, and go quickly go live into production. But if you have some catastrophic failure, then maybe stuff like, secrets that are generated at creation time, that kind of thing, at least you'll be able to recover that.
Yeah, I agree on this. That makes things slightly complicated, but I think it should work with our API. So we can implement that logic. Do we? The main issue I see here that etcd can be shared between multiple users. Can we capture snapshot for the specific user cluster only?
No, I don't think so. I think etcd just snapshots all or nothing. It's really not a very sophisticated product. But on the other hand, why is someone using your etcd? The way Cozystack is designed, the only users of your etcd are your subtenants. So, I mean, is that really a problem then?
But we have etcd snapshots right now. The only thing, it doesn't look like exactly Kubernetes snapshot. And there is no opportunity to recover on this specific cluster, I guess. One more question, is it possible to capture the whole state of Kubernetes resources? How they, because we can't just read all the resources in one time. It will have some time shift. My question, is it possible to read all the resources on specific time frame?
Why would you need that when you have etcd snapshots?
Because I think it might be also a solution when you have no opportunity to get etcd snapshot.
Well, I I don't think there's going to be anything remotely as effective as a snapshot. I mean, even with etcd, which does capture a snapshot, you at the very least have you're not snapshotting the memory state of the containers that are running on nodes. You're only snapshotting what the cluster thinks is the desired state at the moment. And that's not bad. Trying to pull every resource individually from the API server is going to be quite a bit worse. I mean, if you really want to isolate per cluster, I suppose you could take an etcd snapshot and then delete every what do they call it? Well, it's like a directory structure. Delete every directory except for the one that interests you.
I
The
think you
prefix.
can. I think you can even go directly to etcd endpoint and just download the data for the specific time.
Yeah, makes sense. You're right.
The other thing I'll say about the cross-plane use case is that the etcd backup and restore might be the most useful thing for crossplane because it actually preserves the state, but it also might mean that the backup is rendered unviable before any time passes at all because things are constantly being reconciled and the status is going to have changed within any amount of time that you can measure. So for the crossplane backup and restore case, what we actually had to do, what we found was we did need the status. So we did a full cluster snapshot through the API, not through etcd. We filtered down the resources to only the ones that we were interested in restoring. And then most of them had to be manipulated to set an external name in the annotations that we had to scrape out of the status. So backup and restore for crossplane is definitely not straightforward, especially if you're not trying to restore to a point in time, but to a set of resources at their latest state. But on the other hand, from the API, it's easy to see if a resource has changed or not, and it's easy to separate a change in the spec from a change in the status. With a backup of etcd, I would not want to perform etcd surgery in any way, shape, or form. But we did that with the crossplane through the API backup. So food for thought.
Do you have any article or somewhere public thing which describes how you actually do that? Because it sounds like something interesting.
I have an agent skill. That's the best thing I can point at. It's called crossplane provider surgery. But no, I don't. And actually, that's a great idea for maybe a KubeCon submission. I've never found documentation that covers how to do a procedure like this. I've been waiting for a while to do the full Crossplane v2 upgrade because we weren't confident that we could roll it back at any point, and we have a large production system with many accounts attached to it that each step you hold your breath.
Interesting. Okay, if you can provide a link, that would be super useful. Thank you.
Sure, I'll put it in the notes.
Also, we have a question from Marian. Can we backup the whole cluster and restore it in another server like clone? The problem of this was mentioned before, that you can't simply just backup the whole Kubernetes cluster. There is an opportunity if you could freeze all the virtual machines, so all the workers, also somehow freeze the control plane, take a snapshot, then restore them, resume the workers, resume the control plane. Only after that you can go and continuously read all the data and send it to backup storage. And only in this case, the backup will be consistent for Kubernetes cluster. Without that, it is not possible to do the exact copy of the existing cluster. That's just physically not available. That's actually the thing what we're trying to solve by this discussion, how actually we can perform these backups. And one of the things I also would like to check if any other providers like OpenNebula, OpenStack, if they provide backups of the Kubernetes clusters and how actually they do that. Yeah, that's also interesting idea. Using snapshots of the storage system could actually work. I think it could be implemented as part of some C-side driver and some, not sure, like group snapshots, CRDs, but I think it might be quite complex. And in case if something go wrong, your VMs will just stuck in non-operational state. Regarding the mandatory backup before upgrading the Cozystack. That's also good topic to discuss. I think that backups, I think we can provide at least some such option for this, but first we need to cover the whole services with new backup API. One more thing that different providers actually bill for these backups different way. Some of them makes the system backups mandatory, but we usually see the users who actually provide backups API to their customers, and their customers actually paying for this backup storage. So there is also this question, and I'm not sure how to solve that in correct way. But definitely we can do this, or at least to put this into upgrading skill to let cloud code actually perform the backups before the upgrade is done. Thank you for the link. We also have a great discussion regarding VPCs design. For now, we have questions about, we get a lot of questions regarding how can we integrate with the other systems. For example, I have OpenStack running here, and I have Cozystack running here, and I want to communicate from OpenStack VPC with Cozystack VPC somehow. The major problem here that Kubernetes implements different networking stack, different structure. In Kubernetes, you have one common services network and flat pod networking. There were some options to implement additional interfaces like Multus, and CNIs like kubeapi actually supports adding additional interface to the pods. But despite this fact, kube system and the default pod networking, it is required to have different IP addresses for all the pods and different IP addresses for the services. And services network can also work only with the pods, because without this, if we have some conflicts in pod IPs, the services network, actually kube proxy, will don't know where to send the traffic. Also, we have a set of open source operators. We can't change this paradigm to multiple VPCs. We are still stacking with this management network and original Kubernetes pattern. We continuously trying to keep this Kubernetes networking design as it is, but that's blowing people's mind. They want to have layer 2 isolation, and they want to integrate it somehow with other systems. So my question is if we can provide such option for them and still keep the networking pattern we use in Cozystack clean as it is in Kubernetes. Very long introduction. And no ideas. All right, then let's discuss it internally later. Another topic to discuss.
Sorry, I do have a thought about that. I'm just not. I think we can always, implement additional networks. I don't know, use Multus, use kubeapi and VPCs, and that kind of thing. The issue is how could we isolate the users from the management network? I think if we can find a solution to that, then the rest will be more or less easy.
I think that right now it is possible already because kubeapi it actually supports you to use only secondary interfaces, or not sure actually if you can refuse using the core one. But if you're talking about secondary interfaces, it is possible to have conflicting CIDRs assigned in different namespaces. And also it is possible to add Kubernetes-like services in these private networks. Another problem I think here that all the upstream projects, they don't implement such pattern. So we have to move all the databases into tenant Kubernetes clusters, or we can't provide the opportunity to work with upstream operators like with the same experience like it is now. So there should be some gray network which holds all of them.
Yeah, exactly. There should be some network, and that is the network that, say, I don't know, Kubelet operates on. It talks to the pods through this management network. Now, the question is, can we somehow hide the management network from the user? I mean, I would guess it's possible through some network policies that say a request originates in a pod which is running a user workload is not allowed to dial on this management network. Maybe you could do something like that, but I think that ultimately you'll have to roll up your own CNI for this.
Yeah, that could be an option, but I also like the idea that we don't let our users to manage IP addresses at all. The same way, if you remember when Kubernetes just appeared, people were continuously trying to tie specific IP address for the pods, but it wasn't needed because Kubernetes just have different networking structure. Why can't we just enforce this? Like, we're giving you managed service already. We're giving you network isolation. Why do you want to have another pattern for VPCs?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to reframe the problem. But I don't think that the industry will accept this, you know.
Yeah, but that's a good question. How soon they will accept this? Because yeah, we can change the world, or we can.
No, pessimistically, I would say that the timeline for the industry to accept a new paradigm like this is much much longer than a startup project like Cozystack has.
Another topic which I would like to raise from this, what if we'll redesign the tenant Kubernetes clusters to install Cozystack operator into them? In this way, all the add-ons will be shipped as ordinary Cozystack packages. And it could manage it through the Flux as it is in infracluster.
Sounds interesting. I guess all it takes is a tailor-made bundle for tenant Kubernetes clusters.
Yeah, and we can ship it all together. All right, then I would like also to put few words that we have few enhancement proposals in our community repository. We start using this practice to publish all the design proposals. Feel free to check them. And we already got another external one. Let's check these proposals, and you can actually review, and you can put all the any comments on these proposals. It is available even if you are not maintainer. GitHub allows you to make pull request review if you're not owner of the project. And that's it. Also, feel free to join our Cozy Summit. It will be happen quite soon. I think in the next week already. May
26th of May, I
26th.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, we have schedule prepared. Feel free to join and click RSVP. That's a free virtual event. I'll post a link into agenda. Also, we forgot to mention that a new release will include a new component, Ouroboros. Thanks again to Alexei who contributed it. There were old service, it's called Kubernetes hairpin proxy, which solves exactly one thing for routing the traffic, external traffic from inside of the cluster. It was updating core-DNS config to route it internally. This project wasn't updated for 5 or 6 years. And I think Lex Frey prepared another one, which does the same, which wasn't written on Ruby. And it works with both Ingress and Gateway API. It allows you to specify the host names in local etc hosts file, and also another option is to reconfigure core-DNS config. So sometimes it might be useful if you want to make your cert manager do not worry about if it can't reach the ending point. And we have another topic about another project of Alexei, Kuberture. Would you like to put a few words regarding this?
It's a little tool which monitors the kubeapi endpoints and expose it to the external DNS. So it's relay on the external DNS instance, and you can easily create an entry point for your kube configs or another cases and use the DNS to achieve your Kubernetes. It's a little tool, but I was asked at least 3 times in a week about the same functionality in Cozystack. So I bring my own project here. It's pretty simple. Yeah, we already have external DNS, so you can use existing instance of external DNS. And sorry, my brain is empty now. You can, with tool, monitors your kubeapi and manages.
Yeah, I think there were
Yeah,
some.
sorry.
That sounds like an interesting thing. If I remember well, there were some similar projects, even CNCF project. It was called Kubernetes Global Load Balancer. Have you heard
Yeah,
anything about that?
yeah. I tried to find something, and I don't like the whips. I don't like any load balancing. It's too heavy. It's just a simple DNS. The servers in your cluster just monitoring your nodes and adding or removing them from DNS.
Yeah, I think this thing also not do any smart load balancing. It also change the DNS config and just this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Thank you for input.
Yeah, we already have working PRs, and if you like it, we can merge it right now.
Thank you. In this way, we probably done. We don't have time for bug scrap, so let's do that next time. Thank you everyone for visiting our meeting. See you in 2 weeks at the same time.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
You
Have a nice
too.
day.
Bye bye.
Have a nice day, guys.
Have a
Thank
nice day, guys. Cheers.